I'm 5'7" with size 8 feet. I have 2 webbed toes.
I was just really inspired as an independent producer.
The title was Latin for desert cockroach.
It's good that someone's taking the initiative and trying to find venues and a format for these things.
I do a bit of it.
Okay, I'm going to overuse the word fantastic. I've enjoyed everything that I've seen today.
Its pieces reassemble until the sponge is back to its original whole self, and it carries on with its life.
It's just a great place to kind of exchange ideas.
With Izzy's midriff libidinizing him, Crispin isn't shy.
This is a really well-produced event and I'm really enjoying the day.
It's fantastic for people to have an opportunity to get together, coming from different angles, but also how they collaborate.
The poet, the artist, the musician continues the quiet work of centuries, building bridges of experience between peoples.
I performed at one in Kendal. I was at the one at the Albany, and I'm here today in Bristol, and I think they're a really amazing event.
Yeah, that is so really cool! I've got some X-Men type mutant to use as my tool! Yeah!
It's changed the way that I perceive other work.
A trickle of rain falls over the end of the guttering. Dominic smiles. I knew it.
I think it was important. I think it's nice to bring the people who are, supposedly in the know about it, to try and push past what already kind of exists. It's been helpful for me, and and I've seen some good stuff as well. So, vital.
Thank you so much for choosing to have this event at Bristol Old Vic. It's really brilliant to welcome you all here this morning. It's been one of the nicest parts of coming and being part of the sort of waking up of this theatre is days like this when we can get a new opportunity to share it with people. So it's fantastic to see you all here.
So it all began, it was June last year, wasn't it, in Kendal, when we did the first of the lit up day-long showcases and conferences. And the first one was focusing on producing work. The second one at the Albany in Deptford, where I'm from, was focusing on creating work. And the final one is being focused on selling live literature, and that's here at the Bristol Old Vic.
Well, in many ways for me this is the most important session because it's very easy to sit around admiring the work that's produced and reminding ourselves of how good it is, but until we can communicate that idea to an audience, it in many ways means absolutely nothing.
Let's not underestimate the task of marketing what we do, because it's really, really hard. Just as it was hard in 1766 to build this theatre and then face the challenge of actually getting people to come here, that remains a really critical challenge for us today. Bringing people to art is difficult, and it's through exactly sort of meetings and discussions like this that we can start to figure out how we best do that.
The mission of Lit Up, I think, has been to get us thinking about how best to communicate it. And the marketing one especially has been really interesting for me because I market lots of different kinds of events.
There's people almost taking a pledge going, I pledge to put on stuff that won't sell immediately because I'm going to market it till it does. And it's good to see literature being proud to market itself.
Marketing of literature is vitally important to be talked about at this present in time, because I do think that it's one of the few art forms that hasn't really kept up with the advancements in the way that people are using the new forms of technology and the web to kind of promote their events.
The seminars have been good and very informative for me. One on viral marketing and internet, Facebook, etc. So I'm learning a lot on that today and seeing some really interesting work.
We're still working very hard to build our own spoken word audiences, but we have to recognise that we have been doing it for a while and we do have experience to share, and that's what today was about. It was about not saying we've got all the answers, we know how to do it, but sharing our experience and hopefully encouraging other people to share theirs.
Nothing capitalised, nothing apostrophised, acronyms only if regularised, like radar and scuba. House rule. No words that intend to offend or corrupt. Mother is fine, but not mother...
I think for me one of the biggest things that I've got out of the whole Lit Up experience has been it's changed the way that I perceive other work, my own, other people's. I have acquired more of a constructive way of looking at things, more professional of an eye, I think.
We've seen polar bears work at a very early stage at one of the previous conferences. Today we're going to see the finished product, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Noah turns to look at the old man, his weathered face sketched with broken blood vessels. He brings a thin cigarette to his lips. We see the perfectly formed smoke ring widen as it rises. Noah turns to look at the man. Their eyes meet. Not all of them. Boss is here.
Yeah, I was brought on as an associate artist as part of Lit Up with Albany. And I had an idea to develop the idea of me speaking a film.
Open with close-up. The moulded plastic of the dashboard is dimpled rhino skin grey. A young man sits in the driver's seat of a dark blue 1995 Volkswagen Golf. He smokes a cigarette, muttering to himself. The edge of his dark, wiry hair...
Good timing, I guess, in terms of the kind of scheme kind of starting. And systematically developed each chunk of it until now.
Knowing that we had the ability through the consortium to invest in him, to give him a platform, to see it's a real privilege to see his work develop over the 3 events and to see the full show today has been really exciting.
The great thing about Lit Up, all 3 of the sessions, has been the opportunity to meet people in your own field, to see work from other parts of the country that you might not be able to see, and to see what everyone else is up to.
I read Jane Eyre when I was 7, moved on to Geoffrey Archer novels by the time I was 11, left home at 16 but never rebelled with drink or drugs, just Salvador Dali posters and ethnic rugs. Lots of
Kate Fox is developing her one-woman show, and I read her script on the way here and it blew me away, so that's also been really exciting because that's a show that we will go on to produce with her, and that absolutely is a legacy of the Lit Up process.
Don't listen to Johnny Bassi, Jebo. There's no reason for us to fight for his entertainment, Jebo. Are you hearing me? Jebo, listen, if he flogs you, he'll flog me too, and we'll both be beaten, Jebo.
At the first Lit Up we showcased In New Elm's 14th Tale, and to see that before, with 7 or 8 months later, that's doing a run and selling out at the National. I think things are in some ways moving very quickly.
Inside our separate trolleys, we could see each other's dreams past their sell-by dates. Broken promises wrapped in special offers and bargain basement anxieties.
The color of earth stolen. The color of pride broken. The color of secrets spoken. The color of pale tokens.
We were very determined that we weren't too inward-looking in this series, and one of the great things is we've been able to have, I think, an international component to all of the events. And I think it's an interesting point at which we're actually looking at spoken word live literature in other parts of the world and working out how we as a consortium and venues and artists can really connect to that, learn from it, and look at it more as a kind of an international focus going forward, and I think that's going to be an interesting development.
I think what I'm going away with is a real sense of community, but of a community that's outward focused, because in this room we've got people who are trying to fill niche, classical theatrical venues, and people who are going out to prisons and excluded kids.
I would basically like to see more of these types of events.
Lots of projects have kicked off here, lots of collaborations have kicked off that wouldn't otherwise have happened. I'm doing a show in the autumn that I wouldn't be doing if it weren't for Lit Up.
Well, the process is great because it's a day where everyone's here and you can make contact with a lot of people, you can be introduced to new artists and new producers, and you can get an up-to-date picture of what's going on in this field. So it's really, it's been great for me today.
Any kind of showcase of what we're doing has got to be a good thing.
Dominic steps forward, smiling.
If you view it as a chance to put something out there and represent yourself how you want to be right now, I think it's brilliant.